Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in as always. So a couple things right off the bat. I'm not sure if the audio and video quality is going to be slightly diminished with this video, but my nice camera has been confiscated by my wife. So I'm back to my older camera, and I don't think it's going to do as good of a job, but do have in the process of figuring out which camera I want next and ordering it. So anyways, in this video we're going to take a look at one of the acquisitions from Blade Show, which was quite a few months back now. And we're going to look at a Wii knife prototype, which still is not out, which is why I haven't felt the need to rush and do this video, but I do need to get it done at some point, so that day is today. So we're going to take a look at this prototype. There is no model number to give you. They have not shown any pictures or anything of this knife since Blade Show, so I don't know when or if it's coming, but I'm going to share it with you guys regardless. So this is the unnamed prototype from Wii Knives I acquired at Blade Show. They weren't selling anything the first 2 days of Blade Show, so when I asked them if I could buy this knife, they said, hey, come back Sunday. So I went back Sunday a couple times, looped around the show. They said come back later in the day, and when I came back later in the day, it was actually gone. This model was not there, and I was like, well, shoot. And then I came back a couple hours later. I was just kind of browsing, and there it was magically back in the case. So I don't know if they had extra that they pulled out, or if someone had wandered off with this one and brought it back. Anyways, we had a lot of knives at Blade Show, a lot of prototypes. This was the only one that I was like, man, that is killer. I really want that one. So let's take a look at this one. We'll go through the specs, overall impressions, and details. Now, if this design does look somewhat familiar to you, it is because it is based on essentially their budget knife that came out a couple, I don't know, maybe last year. This is the model 617, which is their $100 budget knife. I still contend that this is one of the best $100 knives you can buy. So obviously the same design. You are getting some upgrades here, you know, going from G10 to carbon fiber overlays over the titanium, D2 to S35VN. You may or may not see this as an upgrade, but a standard grind to a compound grind. Again, your mileage may vary there. And then they added a thumb hole on this one. Although the millwork that, you know, kind of goes up and turns into the jimping on this one is pretty cool too. So anyways, definitely some upgrades there. This one has a stainless steel liner lock, which I'm really glad they went with stainless steel. And then this one has a titanium liner lock with a stainless steel lock insert. So we'll look at that in a little more detail. Anyways, that's where this design came from. It's an upgraded 617. Now, if you're liking the layout of this one, there is a model that's fairly similar, different design, but has the carbon fiber overlay, has, you know, an S35VN blade, and that's the model 704 CF or carbon fiber. So you guys can Google that and see, you know, if you're liking this one a lot, but you're like, hey, I don't want to wait for one that may never come, I would look at the 704. So, all right, without further ado, almost 4 minutes in, let's get into the specs. So, pair 2, and let's bring it under the camera a bit more. Okay, there we are. So the blade length on the Wii knife prototype is, well, it's about 3.5 inches at the sharpened edge, but if you're going from the frame all the way to the tip, that's closer to 3.8 inches. The handle length is about 4.8, so overall looking about 8.75 or 8 3/4. The thickness at the widest part is 0.58 inches thick. Now keep in mind that it is fully sculpted, and so it does get a bit thinner here at the edges, and it, you know, you've got the widest part in the middle, hence, you know, the hand filling or the sculpting there. Now the thickness of the edge, or thickness behind the edge here, so the thicker portion, so we have kind of a flat grind here at the tip with a half height flat grind here towards the rear. Right behind the edge, it's about 0.03 inches as compared to 0.026 here towards the front. So anyways, that should be the specs for the most part. Again, liner lock with a stainless steel lock insert, and ceramic bearings, ceramic detent, full titanium and carbon fiber S35VN. So those are the specs. As far as my overall impressions, what I really liked about this knife as compared to all the other ones they had at Blade Show is certainly the ergonomics. This is one of the most ergonomics / comfortable knives I've held in a long time. It just fits in the hand incredibly well, and obviously the fit and the finish is top notch. But yeah, it was, just really, really nice in terms of ergonomics. No doubt that the current model out there, similar to 704, is also very good in the hand, but I haven't tried that one yet. So really liked it for that reason. The blade shape is pretty cool. Not sure how I feel about this really forward harpoon here. The blade by itself, it looks a bit funky, but the total design, it seems to flow fairly well. So light, well balanced, really well made, really smooth. I mean, it's top notch in terms of its fit and finish. Value wise, assuming, so I don't recall what I paid, assuming it comes in at the same price as the comparable models, it should be in the $250 range. And there's a lot of contenders in the $250 range. I mean, the primary one would certainly be any of the ZT offerings that come in at the $250 range. Upgraded M390 carbon fiber, arguably more machining on this one with the sculpting and the stainless steel lock insert on the liner lock, but US based warranty, really good customer service. I mean, it's certainly a strong contender in that price range. So anyways, and again, if you like this one, you want a more budget friendly, 617 is a great option. And the best value that we've put out so far would certainly be their 702, which is an integral, and that one came in around 300, which knocks pretty much all the other integrals out of the park. I think the line still was another one at 300. So anyways, not to get sidetracked, let's look at this prototype in a little bit more detail. So a blackened, some sort of PVD coating. It's actually holding up quite well. I've carried this one a number of times. I haven't, treated it gently by any means, and same with the other Wii knives. The coating seems to hold up very, very well. So the edge was, still the factory edge. Came very nice. It's very clean. It's very symmetric. It's not one-sided or anything. And the grind work is pretty clean. Whether or not you like compound grinds, again, that's up to you. One thing that I thought was pretty cool is on a couple of their Instagram posts, Wii Knives posted pictures of a compound ground blade next to a standard, flat grind blade, whatever you want to call it, and they asked people which one they liked better, so they let people vote. And I think that's really a great way to, gauge customers' interest, make sure you're getting feedback directly from people. I think more companies should be leveraging their social media platforms for more consumer input, at least from time to time, So that was something that I thought was pretty neat. They're also putting out more pieces with Torx hardware. Obviously, this one is their proprietary, star-shaped screw, but they seem to be incorporating Torx on more knives. So, again, if that's important to you, they're doing it. So there is an eye-shaped cutout or oval-shaped cutout. Works really well with the thumb. With the middle finger, it gets a little bit more tricky. You have to kind of choke way up on the knife. And then sometimes you get it out, just due to the way that the hole is shaped, being that it's wider here at the top and more narrow at the bottom. But with the thumb, no problem whatsoever. And then the flipper tab works very, very well as also. Now the spine has been rounded, which is a nice detail on this one. Jimping is moderately effective. There's the swedge. So, should be a pretty good look at the blade here. The flipper tab incorporates into the overall design and the finger troll here quite well. There's some jimping here. Not on the top, but at least on the front. Works pretty well. I haven't found myself slipping on this one. Not my favorite flipper tab shape, but it works. I like more at a 45 personally, such as, like their 702 here. I like this shape a little bit more because it's easier to use, it's more comfortable on the finger. But you know, this one's not bad, just not my favorite. So the handles, no sharp edges, everything's been contoured, so you know, nothing sharp as you're flipping it. Blade steel is designated right here on the spine. S35VN. Sits within the frame nicely as well. And the carbon fiber is very nice, no voids. I like how they did an overlay on this one and left a little bit of the anodized titanium exposed. I think it's a nice design element. And then again, it leads to my favorite thing about the knife is the comfort of the hand, the ergonomics. You know, just the overall shape and the way that it fits is honestly incredible. So, very, very pleased with it in that regard. The pocket clip has been rounded as well, following the same, you know, overall design. It's blue, stonewashed, anodized, adequate spacing to fit into jeans, thankfully. Back spacer is nicely done, incorporates the lanyard hole, lots of nice traction without being sharp, so they killed it there. One thing that I don't particularly love is that well, I guess we'll call it the lock side. The lock side here, the pivot sits a bit proud, whereas on the branded side here, it sits relatively flush. You know, it'd probably be a pain to countersink it into the carbon fiber and the tie. And then the pocket clip sits up even higher, so it's not that it's too far. I mean, you know, honestly, when you're looking at it from this side, it's fine because the pocket clip sits up higher, but it'd be nice if it was also flush. Maybe with the torque stuff they're doing in the future, that'll be more easily accomplished. Again, that's such a minor qualm. Centering is perfect, and I also loved how they incorporated the stainless steel lock insert on such a thin liner lock. I've seen it done. You know, stainless steel lock inserts on liner locks are not new, but being able to accomplish it on a liner this thin is something that I have not seen before. So I know the camera is struggling to focus in there, but it's definitely in there, and it's a very, very cool feature because then you don't have to contend with lock stick or getting lubricant on the lock face or premature wear, any of those things. So, and smoothness, so I better show you that. Yeah, the ceramic bearings and detent they use are just stupid smooth. I've not put any additional lubricant on this knife. I mean, this is just, it's broken in certainly, but that's the way it came, so. Alright, I think I've covered just about everything I want to cover. Yeah, that's everything. So, anyways, We Knives prototype. No idea when it's coming out, if it's coming out. Again, you know, I think that the 617 is an awesome option for $100. Certainly one of the best. The 702, the integral one that I showed you, is a really good option, or potentially the 704. So if this one comes out at some point, I'm sure that you'll see it hit your favorite dealers, but for now it's still just an unnamed prototype that I acquired at Blade Show back in June of 2017. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for bearing with me if the audio and the video has taken a slight downturn here. I should have that rectified in the coming weeks. And as always, more videos to come. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.